Hi, I'm Ilona Pitt and this is Meet Britain's Makers, Made in the Midlands TV series that brings you interviews with top manufacturing and engineering leaders from the industry. Today we're joined by Roy Taylor, Managing Director of Malthouse Engineering. Roy, good morning.
Good morning.
Fantastic to have you in our studio.
Thank you.
I'm especially excited because Malthouse Engineering are one of the first 10 founding members of Made in the Midlands. You supported us since the very beginning when it was just an editorial campaign.
Yes.
So thank you very much for your ongoing support of what we do. And, I hope you're happy to see us grow.
We are very happy to see you grow. We wish you continued growth going through for the next decade.
Thank you. So Malthouse was established over nearly 70 years ago.
Yes, we were.
Yes, and you are very well known in the local area. But for people who don't know about you, could you tell us a bit of a background of the company and what is that you do?
Yes, well, we started 70 years ago, 1947, and we've only ever had two managing directors, my predecessor, Bert Hans and myself. Mm-hmm. Bert started the company in a redundant Malthouse, hence the name, which was in Albury, and very quickly moved to a fantastic new industrial site called Hange Road, where there was no interference from residents, so he could work, and all the other people in the road could work weekends, night times. There were no complaints about noise or pollution in those days. And it was a really good idea, which of course has been copied and emulated by many other areas and many other cities around the UK.
Mm-hmm. So, and then it was a management buyout in the 80s when you
got
involved?
I have known Bert Hans for many years, and he invited me to take over from him at the age of 65. He had sold out to a Wolverhampton group called Frederick Cooper PLC. And the objective of the managing director and chairman of that organisation was that all his managing directors would retire at the age of 65. So I was invited by Bert Hans to take over from him, which I did in 1983. Realised very quickly that the chairman's interests were going more towards electronics and heavy engineering, and this stimulated me to organise a management buyout. Which took place in 1986. So
when there was a buyout and the time today, what's the growth of the company when you first joined?
When I first joined, we had 49 employees with just over £1 million worth of turnover, of course on one site, which was where we are now, the main site in Hange Road. But my ambition was to grow the group and to go geographically as well as in size. So we are now on 3 sites, Tippydale, Wednesbury and Worcester, and we've now got 80 employees, and the turnover is in the region of 10 million.
And that's a substantial growth, definitely.
Yes.
Well done on that one. Could you tell us what sort of industry you supply and what are maybe the well-known projects that you work on?
Yes, we have, one of our strengths is that we do supply across a range of industries. And in fact, we can identify 42 different industries, from agricultural through to heavy engineering. Some of the big projects, for instance, was working with one of our customers on the Channel Tunnel, and they produce the boring machines, which we supply the steel for.
Huge machines.
Huge machines, which obviously we expect and hope that they'll have repeat business for with HS2 and indeed HS3. But we also do many other prestigious projects. We've recently completed some international work for a microscope, which is 300 metres diameter.
Yes.
So that's huge.
For a microscope, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what this does is that it collects a lot of the electrons within the steel that we've produced. It concentrates this into a very intense beam and concentrates the beam on the object that you wish to look inside. So if you have something which is very precious and you do not wish to destroy it, such as a dinosaur bone or a dinosaur head, then you can look inside this particular
Almost like a
item.
live X-ray.
Like a live X-ray, you can look inside it without damaging in any way, and you can see it in 3D and in all forms. This particular one that we worked on was produced in France with an international, more of a European input from many scientific people. And our contact was an Englishman who had perfect French, and he was extremely pleased with our traceability. We had to be able to show exactly where each of the components were cut from each part of the plate. And he was so pleased with our performance, which was on time, on budget, that he came and personally thanked all the operators for the input that they had within the project. So there's many different projects, many different industries. We do a lot of signs. There's a big sign underneath Junction 2 of the M5, which says the word Sandwell, because not many people know where Sandwell is.
Okay.
There's no signs on the motorways to say where Sandwell is. And of course it combines the 6 towns within the area. So our sign was 430 millimetres thick material, and the letters, the font which the council uses, a very slender font, and we tried to get other people to quote as well from Germany and other areas around Europe, and they all refused. But we were able to achieve it and install it on one quiet Sunday morning, so that everyone can now see it and know where Sandwell is.
Fantastic. Yes, so look out for that one. That, I think, nicely takes me to my next question, which is, what are the capabilities of your company and specifications of some of the machines?
Well, we're the flame cutters. This takes an oxy fuel gas, and we can cut through material from as thin as, say, 8 millimetres thick. The thickest material we've cut recently is 500 millimetres thick, so from very thin to very thick. And the machinery itself is guided by CNC, but it's the skill of the operators, the enthusiasm that they have to make sure that they have this black art where they can adjust the speeds, adjust the feed, the pressures, the volumes of gases to get the exact perfect cut, square, smooth, to specification. So we're renowned within the industry for our expertise in this particular area. And the other area that we are particularly proud of is our grinding facility, where we have these enormous machines, lumps and grinders, and we have 18 of them. And they range from 1 metre diameter table to as much, and I have to now talk in inches because this is where when they were made, 120 inches with overhang, so 126-inch diameter table, and other some reciprocating tables as well, which gives us a great facility to be able to offer our customers exactly what they want.
So, Adam, I mean, you've seen the company grow substantially over the past 3 decades. So what is the secret to growing a successful engineering business?
I think it's enthusiasm. The enthusiasm of the management team will pass down to everyone within the organisation. And we have one of the great things about the company is that we have a lot of very long-serving employees. We try to look after everyone. We try to make sure that they get, perhaps in their eyes, not the very highest pay, but certainly mid-range. But we do try to treat all of our people with respect and dignity, and they stick. So that is a very important part of the success of the organisation.
Because you see that black art, it comes in time and
the black art comes in time, experience, enthusiasm, trying to make sure it's better than the last one, better than the competitors, so making sure that they're as good as you can be.
That's great. So you have lots of great and committed employees.
Yes.
So that's the secret. And in terms of skills again and the skills gap, I know you're doing some great work to bring together business and higher education. Could you explain what you do briefly and what others could also do to improve this gap?
Well, it's quite obvious to us in industry that we don't attract the very highest calibre of people anymore. If we look back to Brunel and his experiences and his enthusiasm building railway engines and tunnels and bridges, that has disappeared since the 40s and 50s. So we now work with universities, University of Wolverhampton and the University of Birmingham, and we use something that is the best kept secret called a KTP, a Knowledge Transfer Partnership. And this enables graduates to come into the industry, taste the industry, find the interesting parts of it, the enthusiasm that they can then gain from the experienced workers and become part of the growing company. And we've done this now many times, and I really do encourage a lot of our colleagues in industry to go to the universities. They are approachable and they want to be involved with industry. But there is still this barrier between industry and the academia, which needs to be overcome, and there is a way. And for me, it's called KTP.
Fantastic, yeah. So you got some successful stories.
We have.
Including Mark Haywood,
Yeah.
the marketing manager, which I know personally. So we are at the start of 2017. Briefly, what are your plans for this year and your hopes?
Well, it's been a difficult 2 years because the price of steel has been reducing and reducing, and this is actually bad news for the industry. Good news for the consumer, but bad news for the industry. That has now been reversed, and so we're looking forward to a period of steady growth.
Yeah.
Demand has returned, especially since Brexit. Initially, it was a shock to all of us, but since November, there's been a gathering pace within the industry, almost the release of a pent-up restriction, which has now been opened up again, and we expect this to continue through 17 and 18, and then we'll see what happens when we actually do remove ourselves from Europe.
Yes, a lot of external factors to take to consider this year, but yes, Malthouse is going strong with a fantastic workforce, with a range of industries that it serves. There's some really cool projects, I should say, that you've been involved in, and it was great to learn about this a bit more. I'm sure we could talk about this for ages, but sorry guys, we'll have to take it to the next episode of Meet Britain's Makers. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, visit madeinthemidlands.tv for more interesting content weekly, and I'll see you again very soon. Thank you. Thank you, Roy.
Thank you.